Today's guest is the managing director of one of the biggest marketing agencies in the Gulf. His mindset and discipline is not to be tampered with. And today he will give us a dose of vitamin G. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ghazi al-Yaman, right? Al-Yaman,
Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it.
All right, bro. How's Dubai traffic?
In the mornings and the afternoons, but it's normal.
I was 1 hour late, man. All right, so you're more of a behind, like, you don't really put yourself too much out there with social media. You started recently, right?
Yeah.
By the vitamin G dose. But in general, what is your background? Who's Ghazi, man? Like,
Yeah. So Ghazi is someone that started his career in marketing. I was always interested in marketing, and funny enough, the American election got me into marketing because I wanted to be an engineer. I did a semester abroad in the States, studying computer engineering, studying video game design and these kind of things. And then that kind of transitioned because I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. Mm-hmm. And then there was the elections going on, and I was like, all of these people trying to become president, all of what they're doing is marketing. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoyed that. I got super inspired. I was like, if there is going to be a black president, I better do marketing, bro. So, and then I kind of like left the States, came back here, studied marketing communication, was really well versed in that. And then I moved into a corporate, well, like a lot of people. I didn't really enjoy it. I felt like I was a bit tied up, right? And it kind of like just put me in a place where I'm not allowed to be as creative as I want. Because I have loud ideas. I have crazy ideas. So, and then I moved to another company and I stayed there for about 3 years. Again, wasn't given all the flex. It was more of a startup, so it was a bit more flexible, but I wasn't given the full, reins to things. Although before I left, I became the, like a senior executive there, right? Yeah. I was like a growth manager, regional growth manager. Well, I still wasn't happy with what was going on. At that time, my little brother was, blowing up on social media with his famous "What you do for a living," and I then realized that what, we can do that for people and brands, because everyone was coming up to us like, I want to be famous. Everyone wants to be famous in 2023, 2020, yeah. 22, 21. So we're like, you know what, we can help them. Like we know how to do this. So we opened the agency in like 6 hours. It was literally like a very random idea that we didn't even know that we were going to do. We just did a few phone calls, boom, boom, boom. I had a license, 6 hours, literally. Yeah. After that, I had 4 clients because they were already in contact with us before. So alhamdulillah, was a good, journey up until now.
So you didn't like the 9 to 5, the norm, because it was in a sense it was 9 to 5, even though you climbed the ladder, but it was still.
It's still a 9 to 5, and I still had bosses to report to, and not a lot of times we saw eye to eye. And what really opened my eyes is that boss has another boss, and the other boss has another boss, and the other boss has another boss, and the CEO, who was the founder, still has a board of directors that he needs to please. Yeah. And if they're not happy, they can fire him. It's not that he's a founder, he'll stay. So that opened my eyes. I was like, and a lot of ideas that I shared, and was during the COVID time and these kind of things, and I shared a lot of things with them, and then they would reject them, and then a few months later they would end up doing the same thing that I suggested 3-4 months, which was already late. And that opened my eyes. I was like, these guys are doing something wrong.
Yeah, because by the time you have an idea and it goes up the corporate ladder, it would have been too late, especially in the marketing. And if you have an idea, it needs to be done right now.
I agree with you.
Amazing. And you said how the bottle flip agency began. So
6 hours, bro.
6 hours.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah. What permit would you need for that? Because I think the only permit I got was market, right?
Yeah. Like so there are ways to open companies. It costed me 1,000 dirhams because there is a special permit only for Emiratis. I'm not an Emirati, but one of my close friends from childhood is. And I just phoned him up. I'm like, listen, man, I need a permit. Boom, boom, boom. He's like, yeah, say less. He paid it, gave it to me. He's like, bro, I don't want anything in the company. This is yours.
The permit is in your name or?
It was in his name
Right.
at first. And then when we grew to a certain number of billing, this is when I told him, listen, bro, I appreciate what you did to me. I appreciate the support. Because I don't know, right? When you open a new business, you need like a stable cash flow.
Yeah.
You need to mitigate the risk. You need to know that you have enough, you know that there's a business model that works.
Yeah.
So I wasn't willing to take more risk than 1,000 dirhams at that point. And thankfully enough, I have good friends and solid connections and like brothers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So after we grew to a certain billing, I really, was really grateful for that friend, and I just opened it as a social media full-fledged agency.
Yeah. All right. And like after you, well, that, mashallah, grew.
We grew fast. We're still growing fast, yeah.
Right, yeah, I understand. Come on, it's social media. It's all you need is... Because you basically had the same business model that I go by. Well, the business model I go by is... And it's in general, it doesn't even stand only for the marketing. It stands for anything in the world, and I think this is the best thing to do right now. Usually what they used to do is you would have a product or service, and then you would market it or try to outreach to people or whatever, and then you would wait until a client answers you. Or you would just have the skill and you would think that a client will just come. Now what I felt and what works the best is you learn the skill, you use it on yourself, build a social media platform, build a whole personal brand, use that already grown brand to get clients. And you have credibility, it's much easier, most people already know you at that point, connections, and I feel that's the same exact thing that you guys did.
Yeah, 100%. Not only that, like, the nice thing about a personal brand is people just don't understand that in this day and age, you have to be on social media. Yeah. It's not a thing of, I want to be on social media. It's a question of, what should I post?
Yeah.
Right? If you're interested in potatoes, post about potatoes. Do you know how niche that is?
Exactly.
Do you know how big you can go? Do you know how many potatoes McDonald's buys daily? All of these, burger places on Jumeirah Road. Yeah. Dude, that's a good business, man. Like, imagine you're a potato expert and you can advise people on the best kind of potatoes for fries. Like, as simple as potatoes, you can literally be creating content about that.
Yeah, actually, I think that would be pretty fire. I think
that would be a really cool content.
It's like the potatoes of KFC versus the potatoes of McDonald's, and then you'd have both of them, and you would look at all the differences.
And then you can go back, and then you can show how it's grown. You can show the difference. Well, it's crazy, right?
And then eventually McDonald's can invite you in to show how their potatoes are made. Then you've got a partnership with McDonald's.
How much money are you
making? And
now
you're making a shit ton of money.
How much money are you making? Exactly. So it's just about creating the content. It's just about starting. And that's what I always tell my clients. Like, guys, there's no such thing as too many content. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them just don't understand. Like, they try to make the perfect lighting and the perfect this and the perfect that. It's not about that. It's about literally just starting. Mm-hmm. Once you start, you will start adapting your style. You start adapting the way you do things. You start adapting, and then you'll find your niche. You'll find your tone of voice. You'll find your persona. You'll find everything. Now, once you start that thing and you grow to a certain extent and you want to kind of like keep that persona, that's when you create a persona and you actually put it on paper. Yeah. Which what I do for my clients, what I do for myself, what we do for Ayman, right? Yeah. So personal brands extremely important.
Especially in this day and age, like 15 years ago, you could have said, okay, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, these are the companies that you've heard of. Now it's Prime, it's Bottle Flip Agency, it's every single thing is affiliated with a person. A person, exactly. There has to be a face of the company. There has to be that personal brand, because that's how you get people to trust. It's easier to trust a person than
it's human nature.
Exactly.
Before brands were there, people were doing business with people. Yeah. And I don't know if you said you were new here, but the way it works here, there's a lot of companies after a person, named after a person, like Majd al-Futtaim, right? That's a person. Yeah. And people love him because he's done a lot in the community. He's really, helped people enjoy themselves, crazy entertainment, and he's into multiple sectors, literally a whole ecosystem on his own. And the whole company is named after a person.
Yeah.
So this concept was there before, but now it's easier to get into because of social media.
It becomes accessible to everyone.
100%.
And okay, so now you're entering into the realm of like creating content, right? What made you take that step?
So I've always liked creating content. It was just a matter of like my crazy schedule, and I work long hours, bro. Like, even if I know my team can handle everything without me, there's always something that I'm working on. There's always some project that's taking us to the next level. And this is what continuous growth looks like. Because a lot of people, they open a business, they have a running system, they do that, they do this. They know they can take their hands off, and they're just off. No, it doesn't work like that. You don't stay number one if you stop.
Yeah.
And if you're the underdog, which is in our case, you won't reach number one if you stop. Your business might grow alone, but you won't be able to take that next step. So yeah, you're talking hours to like 2, 3, 4, and that's just been how I'm doing it. But now I realized if I want to take that extra step, I better get on social media.
Yeah, and that's where you got started with the
vitamin G,
right?
I've been doing it for a while. Do we stop?
No.
Okay. I've been doing it for a while, but I wasn't that consistent. But now, since I set up like a home office, I call it my vitamin G headquarters, different than Butterflip. I added like my own, studio and everything there. So it became just super easy. I just pull out the mic and start talking. And I made a nice backdrop and everything. So with vitamin G, I'm trying to kind of support the younger generation, inspire them, give them practical advice, give them things that I did wrong, and then they can learn from it. And I'm extremely transparent. Like, you can ask me about anything, I'll genuinely just tell you.
Yeah.
Right? And I've done a lot of things in my life, wrong things. So again, this, for me, is not a lesson just for me. It's a lesson for me and anyone else that wants to listen. And that's what vitamin G is all about.
Yeah, and you mentioned that everyone has done things, that's just human nature. You're not perfect. So what was the changing point?
Changing point.
Yeah, when did you go like, okay, this one was a bit too far. It's now time for me to go back.
In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, some people might disagree.
Yeah.
A man that doesn't have experiences, a lot of things, still didn't reach his full maturity, right? I would say, in your younger years, at least try things. Even if they're wrong, even if you feel like it's something you shouldn't do, you should at least have that experience and understand what it is. Even if you didn't try it, but really understand what it is, because then you can make a decision based on you. Yeah. Not based on what someone else said. Not based on what is wrong, what is right. And that's exactly what happened to me. I was pulled in the wrong directions so many times. And then, alhamdulillah, just something somewhere in my life just was calling, listen, I can't keep living my life this way, because if I stay this way, I'm not going to be able to take things to the next level. I'm not going to be able to become that crazy successful person. Yeah. Because I was wasting my resources, wasting my energy, wasting my time. All of these things are valuable resources, right? And also monetary at some point. So it just clicked. It wasn't from a religious standpoint at first, but then after, alhamdulillah, I'm trying to become a better Muslim. Yeah. So that's when things,
Yeah, I understand that. For me, I like that perspective, because I have a similar, a bit of a different one, but it's a similar-ish. So I also believe you can't I'm a very logical person, extremely logical, right? That's why I'm Muslim. That's why I like, I'm not more of a religious person. I am a very logical person, which attracts me to the religion, right? I like to think, okay, A, B, C, Z. Where did that come from? You know, there's a logic fail here. So for me, when people say, oh, no, you have to stay like this, perfect, 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 the whole time, you never explore the other side, that's a logic fail. Because if you never explore the other side, how do you know it's bad? How do you just have this curiosity all the time, and there's a logic fail here, right? So for me, I'm like, I explored the others, I continue to explore the other side in a sense where I get to know people who are on the other side, hang out with them with the mindset of, I want to see what's going on that side, and then I can make my choice for myself. So for instance, let's just say smoking weed. Let's just give that as an example, right? I would, instead of just go try it myself, right, but I would be hanging around with someone who did, and I would go hang around with them, see how that is. If I see their reactions and how they are, and be like, okay, there's something logically wrong here. Let me just go back. That's how I explore. And I feel like this is like a safe way of just exploring many, many things without being too much pulled in, right? It becomes
See,
like
it's a cycle, right?
Yeah.
You hang around a lot of people that smoke pot. You're the third one,
Yeah.
right? You hang out a lot of people that go out and drink. You become like that, right? So for me, it just became that cycle, and I looked around in these different groups. Who is the person that is extremely successful? And I couldn't find that person. In my pursuit to find that person, I started looking online. I started hanging out in different groups. I started, meeting different people. And I saw the people that were extremely successful, they had high standards for themselves. They had that crazy routine. Doesn't mean that they don't go out. They do, but they have a time frame. Instead of going out for, I don't know, the entire night, go out for 2-3 hours. It's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Go back home, recharge, and go do important things that are money generating activities.
Yeah.
And that's a key word here, because you're gonna go out, you're gonna drink, you're gonna smoke, you're gonna do that. You're wasting what, 8, 9, 10 hours, 12 hours? That's time you can't get back. Money I can get back. Energy I can get back. Health, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But time,
you're never gonna get that back.
You're never gonna get that back. When the second I realized that, it just became like, I need to do things now.
Yeah.
And if it's not now, like, I genuinely get an itch, You know how, like, some people are just addicted to something? No, I can't. Like, I just need to do it.
I understand. The itch is one thing that, actually, it's the first person I talk to who understands the itch, because sometimes I'd have an itch and it will come at 11 or 12 a.m.
Yeah.
And I would stay up all night, bro. I'll be like, no, I can't sleep. There's no way I can sleep without exploring this idea first.
But I don't sleep. Sometimes I sleep at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And then I'm awake at like 8, 9 the next morning.
It's like this excitement of a new FIFA game that came out, and you wake up at 5 a.m. before school and you go outside really good.
You're building something.
Exactly.
You're creating something, right? And that's the real thrill, because the longevity of that and seeing it come to life is much more fulfilling than any party, any game, any going out, any travel, whatever that is. It's way more fulfilling than that.
It's beautiful. I love that, yeah.
I don't know. I think my team think I'm a psychopath, because I'll text them at like 4 a.m. And then in the morning huddle, which the thing we have every morning, I'm like up. I'm like the first one up. They're like, well, what's wrong with you? I'm like, guys, let's build something cool.
You can rest later.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, with social media, of course, you've got the good side, and then you've got the criticism, the
how to deal with hate.
Yeah, but it's gonna be how do you deal with these people who are just like, just
poking.
hating, poking the bear.
Yeah. I don't.
Just ignore it.
I don't care, bro. Look, I actually, before, I used to care, there's like a public persona, this, that, blah, 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 because I come from a PR perspective, right? Come from a PR background, communications, marketing. I learned this from my little brother, Ayman. Bro, he doesn't read his comments. He doesn't read his DMs. He doesn't read his emails. Bro doesn't care. Just content post, boom. Content post, boom. And I mean, he has people doing the other stuff for him, but he generally doesn't care because he doesn't want to be influenced in that mindset.
Yeah.
So the answer to that is don't care. Now, obviously, if someone has a positive, constructive criticism comes in telling you, listen, bro, I care about you. This because I care about you, I feel like this video, this boom, 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 for sure.
Yeah.
He listens. But if someone's just splurging hate, bro, let them.
Yeah, exactly.
Making me more famous, bro.
Yeah, bro, I'll tell you.
Let them.
I have a video that hit like 20 mil, and I think one of the main reasons it did so is because there was one hate comment, and then I just replied to it like in a very sarcastic but like ignorant way, you know, so that he would come back and comment again, and then someone else would come and comment. It's like a
Snowball effect.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Yeah.
snowball, and that comment has like 20,000 replies, and I'm like, thank you guys very much, because sometimes it makes great content.
Yep.
I love hate comments.
Yep.
Like when I would start any page, I would be targeting the hate, because getting hate is easier than getting the love. Love only comes when hate is there
After.
first.
Bro, if you're not getting hate, you're not doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not doing something right. So, see, all of the great names in history, bro, they all have the people that cherish them, love them, and you have people that can't stand them.
Yeah.
Tell me one person that is loved by everyone.
Nobody, bro. There is not even God is, bro. Not even
Astaghfirullah, but
stuff like that.
again, that's true, because some people you have that are atheists, you know?
and not just normal atheists, they're on attacking, you know, attacking.
Yeah, they start attacking, exactly.
So it's
So
like,
there is no black and white thing 100%. It's always like somewhere in the middle, you
yeah.
know?
And so you, mashallah, have built all of this, and you're continuing to build. What is the drive behind it? Was there a turning point, a traumatic experience, or what's the drive behind all of this?
Drive comes from two places in the mind, and this is like deep in the roots of us as people. You have the need to seek pleasure, you know, getting nice things, taking care of the family, taking care of yourself, buying whatever you want without thinking about it, doing whatever you want, being mobile, free, blah, 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 blah. That's nice, but it's not enough. Pain is the single most strongest driver for any human. Like, think about the pain for not doing this. And really get into your head. Like, some people just would be like, oh, if I don't do it, I won't make money. No. If you don't do it, your friends won't respect you.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do it, your mom won't be proud. If you don't do it, your mom will think you're a failure. Your dad won't be able to look at you in the eye. You know, to the extent of, if I don't do it, my family is going to die.
Mm-hmm.
That's the extent of where I take things to keep myself on.
Yeah.
Because fear is the strongest motivator. And some people will be like, yeah, fear stops me.
Target it, retarget it.
Exactly. That's
Channel it, yeah.
That's how you retarget it. Because think about the human nature. From when you were a kid, your parents you started walking. Oh, don't do this. No. You know, you're gonna fall. No, don't touch this. It's hot. Don't go alone. Don't do this. It's embedded in our minds.
Yeah.
And some people, it becomes like a block.
You know that it's actually in your biology. So I studied biology. You know what is, when you think of a kid, yeah, what do they always do? They always crawl around, put everything in their mouth, right? They touch everything,
Yep.
whether it's a stove, whether whatever. Why? There is the fear isn't there. It's not instilled, and that's how they learn. That's how you explore. That's how you try things. You know, so it's literally instilled, and it's normal. That's what you should do to grow. Okay, now you've grown from a baby to a semi-adult. To continue the journey, you need to do the same thing, just in a more a logical or like a more thought of way, but you still need to do essentially the same thing.
So flip it. Flip the fear. So
Yeah.
instead of fearing the thing, fearing of not doing
Not
the
doing
thing.
it, yeah.
And that just drives me like crazy.
Yeah. The
And
fear is
that's-
the fear of what if I fail is weaker than the fear of if I don't do it, I will fail. There's
If
no
I don't do it,
I will. It's a guarantee that I will fail.
not just that, if I don't do it, my family might die. That's
Yeah.
how that's the extent that's the extent to where I take it.
Yeah.
That's how I make people like make sure I'm always like on to do the next thing, you know?
Mhm. All right. So we're talking about people trying to channel their fears, you know, or work hard and become an entrepreneur, quote unquote. The thing is, there's a lot of people in the world, you can look at them everywhere, who are probably working harder than me and you, and they're in a less unfortunate position. Why do you think that is? Is it because they're not working hard enough, or is it just the way it is, or what is your perspective on that?
I've seen this so many times, and so many people I know. What's written for you is gonna come.
Mhm.
Okay, it's just a matter of you taking the right steps in the right direction. When you say some people are working hard, okay, I do this thing today, I do it tomorrow, I do it, I don't know, 10, 20 times more, I see no results, or I see the same result. So that means there's something fundamentally wrong with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That means I either need to adapt, change, or take a zoom out, take a step back and see what am I actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
I can be cleaning all of the floor and all of the office and all of this mall, right? And then that is working hard.
Yeah.
This is the definition of working hard. But is it going to get me somewhere? If I do this 200 times? Probably not.
Yep.
So you're always going to have that, because a lot of people have that fixation. They do something and they keep doing it and they keep doing it. And they think, khalas, I'm going to reach. This is how I reach.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily correct. That might be correct in working out, you know, lifting weights. But even when you lift
Even though
weights,
it's not. Yeah.
you need to also increase the weight. You need to
Yeah.
make sure you're doing the move correctly. So you need to always take a step back, see if what I'm doing now, how is it going to affect, and what's the projection of where I'm going.
It's working with intent.
Not just intent, working with a goal.
Yeah, man, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. It's like you can work hard, you can work smart, but without the intent of reaching a certain thing,
You won't reach.
you will just stay in the same place.
And if you don't even put the things you want to accomplish on paper,
Mm-hmm.
and that's an activity I do a lot. I put the things I want to accomplish on paper. Okay, fine. How can I get to this?
Yeah.
I'll start writing down smaller things I need to do before. Okay, I don't have these things. What do I need to do to have these things? Oh, okay, I need to do this. What are the skills?
Yeah.
I start
Dividing.
getting the skills. Okay, I don't have these skills. Can I hire someone?
Yeah.
Can I afford it?
Mm-hmm.
Fine, I'll hire some. Oh, I can't afford it. You know what? I might be able to afford this person for 5 hours. I reach out to this person. Listen, 1, 2, 3. You're an accomplished person. I know you don't need the money. Help your brother out.
Yeah. Understand.
And I have this money. I don't want you to do it for free.
Mm-hmm.
I have this money. I know it's not your rate, but help me for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And see the kind of respect you get from people when you admit to them, listen, I can't afford you, but I can afford you for maybe 2-3 hours. And I want to make the most out of these 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
And you would be actually shocked by the number of people that will accept your offer. And some of them end up not even taking the money.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to
Yeah,
connect.
it's a good way to connect. Well, you mentioned to me before that you studied karate, right?
Yeah.
Here or in Japan?
No, it was here.
Oh, it's here. Okay.
But I've been studying martial arts
Uh-huh.
since I was 3 years old.
So you're a big fan of the Karate Kid?
A big fan. I mean, Karate Kid is not actually karate.
I know, but it's like
Yeah.
the movie.
But again, I understand the sentiment of the Karate Kid. I've literally been taking karate since I was 3 years old. And I'm like 27 now. So it's pretty crazy. I know I might look older, but Yeah, karate has really changed my life, you know. I started as a student, and then I got the black belt, and then I took over the dojo because my sensei gave it to me after.
Mm.
It's the Japanese School of Martial Arts. We were operating up until COVID. We had a big studio in Algoz, and then unfortunately we had to close down because there was no contact and all of these things.
Mm.
And then we never really opened it back up. But hopefully soon, we might open it. But karate has always been something embedded in my DNA, you know, because discipline, you know, focus, spirit, all of these things are things that you can use in any aspect of your life. Being a student was very different perspective than being a teacher, because being a student, you're only receiving. Being a teacher, you need to kind of like learn how to give, learn how to inspire others, learn how to, let's say you have some students, you have some people that are, they don't have that drive.
Yeah.
And they're in your class, okay? You gotta know how to talk to different people, and it kind of opens your eye on how you manage a team, how you would work with a client, how you would, this is one of the reasons why I started Vitamin G, right? Because I felt like in my karate classes, I was really getting these kids pumped. I was really getting my students pumped. I was really getting them to a better place in life. Not just karate, in general. So I said, you know, I think I like to give more than receiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one big thing of karate is, of course, discipline, right?
Yeah.
So, in your life, what was one time where you really, your discipline and your resilience was really tested?
Bro, being an entrepreneur is like, it's not an easy task.
It's 24/7. It's not 9 to 5.
Yeah, no, just 24/7, 48 hours, bro, in
Yeah.
a day.
Yeah.
That's how I like to say it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because literally on the way here, I was on a meeting, and then I had another email, and then I had another thing doing it, right? Although my team can handle a lot of the workload, some certain things get escalated all the way, you know, to things I need to handle. So when we were starting out, and when we started to build a stronger team, and we started having high salaries, etc., but a lot of times you get tested because you still don't have that stable cash flow. You still don't have these things, and you would reach the end of the month or close to the end of the month, and then you look in the bank account and it's zero.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a negative because you have some things that you have to pay. So yeah, it gets hard.
Yeah.
But the way I look at it, what are you going to lose?
Yeah.
What's the worst thing that's going to happen?
Go back to being 9 to 5. So it's basically that's what would happen if you don't
What
do it anyways.
am I going to lose my house? Okay, fine. Who cares? Next.
Yeah.
I genuinely, if you really believe in what you're doing, and you really believe that what you're doing has an impact, you wouldn't even care if you're thrown in jail.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even care if you're on the, I don't know, sleeping on the pavement. Because you know, at the end of the day, I'm going to accomplish 1 and 2 and 3.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's really hard sometimes. Some people can't handle that kind of stress. But I just genuinely believe, like, alhamdulillah, I can. And I really don't care about that.
Also, like, if they're materialistic, then this becomes very, very bad, because then they can give up easily. It becomes very stressful. For instance, with me, I came here, I saw the lifestyle, you know, I've gone into some of them, rode the cars. Bro, for me, the biggest anticlimactic thing I've ever experienced, like, ever since I wanted to ride a Ferrari, all this, you know, like, go do this. That's why I was working hard. And then I'm like, it's uncomfortable. I feel like I'm in a normal car from the inside. The only person who's being satisfied is the guy from the outside looking at the car. I'm in the inside, just nice speed, and that's it. Or going and eating something. It's like, oh, very fancy. Okay, at the end of the day, it's inside my body now. So for me, it's like, I'd like a juicy burger, you know, this kind of things. And it just made me very in love with the process more than the actual result. You know, work for the sake of working. I don't mind sleeping in the pavement. As you said, these things now don't scare me. Like it's not. Oh well, if I don't do it, then I will not have the money to be on a yacht. Oh my God. I don't. It's anticlimactic, bro. Like I just work for the sake of working, and I love it. And for my kids, for the legacy, for all of that, that's my goal, right? To have a legacy, something that I can leave behind, all of that. But if to reach that, I have to sleep on the floor for years. I don't care. It's like we're men at the end of the day. We don't mind sleeping on the floor. It's like it's a floor, bed, whatever it is. It's the same. But yeah, so this is the truth about entrepreneurship. It's like working all the time. It's doing all of this. There has to be goals, all of that. But the question for everybody watching is, how do they develop this mindset, right? What is the first step? What is like number one today? What do they do?
If you are starting off and you have no clue what you want to do, you have no clue what you want to be, what I would suggest is start trying a bunch of things, right? Because some people, let's face it, some people don't have that calling that they always had. Funny story, Bottle Flip was the name of a project I did in university, and then a few years later I opened it. Anyway, and same thing with a lot of the businesses I have. And then a lot of the names and a lot of people that knew me from back then go like, yo, you just opened that? Yeah, I just opened that. But my thing is, genuinely try a lot of things and identify key people that you want to model. Because success, funny enough, is duplicable. Like anything in life, it's duplicable. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to create things from scratch. What you can do, and a lot of successful businessmen here, and I don't want to start name dropping, that I know them personally, but they took things that were working outside, adapted it to this market, and then just innovated within that thing.
Yeah.
And they are multi-billion-dollar companies. So if you genuinely don't know what to do, start with researching, doing a deep dive, not just on what to do, but also on yourself. Mm-hmm. Once you have that fundamentals ready, then start putting your goal, whether it's financial, what do I want to leave? What if I die today, what are people going to say about me? If I do this, what's going to happen then? Etc. Then, somewhere, somehow, you will know what to do.
Yeah.
Funny enough, a lot of people started in one industry, ended up in something totally different. Again, you will figure out your way. You just got to start.
Yeah.
Right? And that mindset of growth, of Kaizen, basically growing that 1% every day, that's the kind of mindset that you need to have.
Mm-hmm. All right. And, well, we're in Dubai right now, right? Which is the place to be. Right? The place.
Yeah, best city on earth.
Yeah. Why is it the best city on earth?
Okay. So, I lived briefly in the States. Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with the States.
There is a lot of wrong.
There are a lot of things wrong. I'm saying nothing wrong with living there, right? But I just didn't feel that synergy, mm-hmm. right? People are way too comfortable. People don't have that kind of like drive. They don't have that like warrior attitude, the go-getter attitude. So I didn't really click with a lot of the people there. Mm-hmm. And at some point I felt like there was something wrong with me. It wasn't that. You know how they say sometimes you don't know the value of a gem if you take it to the wrong place. Yeah. But if you take it to a jeweler, he'll give you the highest price for it. Yeah. So that's exactly what I felt in Dubai. The opportunities are there. Taxations and all of these things out of the window. You can connect with like-minded individuals. And it's like a hub for many cultures to come. Yeah. Because if you go to the States, yeah, there's maybe diversity, but they all grew up and lived there, and they're like kind of like washed, you know, and that washed to think in a certain way and to act in a certain way, etc. Here, everyone has a different background. There's no like, there's no background that's similar. You might find similarities. Oh, you come from Lebanon, I come from Lebanon. Oh, you were living here, you know?
Yeah.
But in general, it's very different. So it kind of even opens your mind to different things. So that's why I love Dubai. Another thing is the easy life, safety, the genuine, like I feel like it's much easier to do money. There's less limitations. And yeah, just the laws are just very empowering. But there's a ministry of happiness. Like, what other country think of these things, right? There's a ministry of youth. Mm-hmm. They genuinely are future thinkers. And I feel like I'm also a future thinker, so it just aligned really nicely.
Yeah. It's like the government is doing the same things we're trying to do. Like they're
Exactly.
investing, they're not afraid to, they're doing
Exactly.
It's like, but other than that, if you go to the US or Europe, it's like the governments are like just trying to maintain or like keep all
either trying to maintain or trying to oppress. I would argue.
Yeah.
But again, to each their own. I'm not really going there. There's a reason I'm not there. There's a reason I'm here. And I'm really happy here, and I feel like you can build a very bright future. And look at all the startups, look at all the businesses, look at all the entrepreneurs, look at all the ecosystems that are here. And I genuinely believe there's more opportunity here and in the Gulf region than any other place. Just look at what's happening in Saudi right now.
Saudi
look at look at the city being built as we speak.
Yeah.
Look at the number of people coming to Dubai versus the developments happening.
Yeah.
You think the real estate market is up right now, but look at the demand versus the supply we have, right? Like the MAC alone has 43 units coming up. 43,000 units coming up. But guess how many people are coming in?
Millions.
Exactly. So...
Yeah. Do you think it's going to get overpopulated eventually?
Bro, we live in a desert, man. We can just keep expanding.
Yeah, we can keep expanding.
We can expand both ways, right? We can build more islands. We can take over more.
Yeah. We just keep expanding. But then it becomes very large. And it doesn't be like... Right now, it feels like a little cozy, you know? Like, oh, you can go to downtown in 15, 20 minutes on a good day. Then Marina. No. But then if it becomes way too big, you can have Dubai... But then one part to the other part of Dubai is like 50-minute drive or something. But then it becomes like too big.
There's no such thing as too big.
No?
Bro, look at their dreams, man.
Yeah.
They built the Palm. They built Burj Khalifa. You want to be number one. You got to act like number one, bro.
Yeah.
There's no too big. There's no too large. Nothing's too hard.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, these are all the questions I have for you, man. I appreciate you coming for real, man.
Thank you so much for hosting me on the
no
talk
worries.
show.
Thank you so much, bro. I
appreciate
really
it.
had
Thank you so much.
Good talk.
Pleasure.
Awesome. We'll just end it there. Yeah.